Hi, my name is Zan Oser, and I'm a part of the Snap AR Partnerships team. My team's goal at Snap is to help foster and establish meaningful relationships with innovative AR developers to help bring their vision for the future of AR to life. And one part of that is in partnership with industry-leading brands like Live Nation, HBO Max, and Disney. We are proud to have such a diverse global network of creators, developers, teams, and agencies with unique talents and skill sets, like many of you watching, all within our community. This is why we feel grateful to be able to connect with many of you with brands who need your AR expertise to play a critical role in making their vision become a reality through the power of AR. In this session, you'll hear from two Snap AR creators, Chris and Andre, who are both experts in collaborating with brands, artists, and companies on AR experiences. We're also joined by Angelique, one of the brand leaders currently working on an AR strategy for her business. In our conversation, we'll get to the heart of what makes a successful long-term relationship between AR developer and their clients, and what both sides look for throughout the partnership. All right, let's start with introductions. Chris, can you kick us off?
Yeah, I'm Chris Lee, one of the co-founders of Artifact and creative director, now senior director of design at Nike.
Amazing. Angelique?
Yeah, hi, I'm Angelique Vendette. I am the global head of marketing for Aloe Yoga.
Amazing. And Andre?
I'm Andre Elijah. I'm an immersive director and founder of Andre Elijah Immersive.
All right, Andre, so can you share your background and journey into AR?
Yeah, so initially I was a virtual reality dev and had a project with a couple of the original OLCs from working with Snap. And every week we would have our meeting about the project and we'd just devolve into AR and what the latest is with Snap. And eventually they said, do you want an intro? And do you want to go on this journey with us? So that was 2 years ago and they got me into the Snap AR residency and then learned everything about Lens Studio. And 2 years on, I've been working with brands nonstop in the Snap ecosystem.
Amazing, amazing. Thanks for joining us. Angelique, could you share how you first realized that there was an opportunity for AR to make an impact on your business?
Yeah, absolutely. We have always really been interested in how, AR can help augment the physical world, and have always been interested in things like digital fashion. And so diving in for Aloe, it felt just natural to be able to show our consumers both the IRL version of the clothing, but then a URL version that felt just as realistic.
Yeah, amazing. It's great to hear your light bulb moment when you realized AR's value for Aloe.
Yeah.
Now, most likely as the CMO, you don't have a ton of time to dive in and really understand the ins and outs of Lens Studio and develop your own AR experience. So I'm wondering how you went about finding and searching for a partner who could help you bring the value of AR you saw to life. Could you tell us a little bit about how you started evaluating AR experts and some of the criteria that you had for Aloe?
Yeah, for us, finding an AR partner was quite easy in the sense that wanted to find the very best, knowing that Snap AR is the best technology out there. Wanted to find a technology that would help amplify the clothing and help show the clothing in a realistic manner. So if you are trying it on, whether it's with a lens or in real life, there wouldn't be too much of a difference. And that's where we found the value, and that's how we found the partnership.
Amazing, yeah. And conversely, Andre and Chris, you both have years experience working with as experts in helping artists and companies bring their ideas to life with AR. But before we dive into your recent work, I'd love to learn a little bit about how you both started, or how did you find your first partners who were willing to collaborate on virtual experiences with you? And Chris, let's start with you.
I was always a 3D artist ever since I was a kid. My first introduction to 3D was in 1997. From there, I knew I wanted to be an artist. So I went into the music industry designing for a lot of rappers. I worked with The Game, Nas, Anderson .Paak, eventually Jhené Aiko. I designed all of Jhené Aiko's album covers. So did my thing in the music industry for a while, designing and directing music videos. And then I got bored of music videos. I wanted to eventually do something where I started to have ownership in my stuff. So I went into filmmaking, did a couple movies. I did 2 movies with Danny Trejo. One called Zombie Hunter that was on Netflix back in 2013. Did all my own VFX. So I kept my films super cheap. I knew how to stretch $1. Then from film, got bored of it, went into the game design sector, designing skins for a game called Counter-Strike Global Offensive, Dota 2, and eventually Rainbow Six Siege. But I was designing the skins through the Steam workshop, which was like the light bulb moment, because Valve basically gave artists royalties. And I thought this was like the coolest thing ever. Like, artists should have ownership in the work they create. So from there, I bumped into my co-founder, Benoit, who at the time was at Fnatic, which is like an esports team. He was like the brand manager. We did some collabs, and then he introduced me to Zaptio, which he was the other co-founder who could make the sneakers into reality, and the rest was history.
And so you three came from different backgrounds and really formed.
Similar, but different.
Amazing, amazing. And Andre, let's turn to you.
Yeah, I mean, just as an aside, I was actually a part of the Danny Trejo fan club in high school.
Oh, wow.
So every week on Wednesdays, we would watch a different Danny Trejo film. So yeah, I lit up when you just said that. But for me, I mean, I've kind of been a creative my entire life. Started off as a kid, as a musician, and then child actor, and then eventually moved behind the camera, worked in the film industry for a while. And eventually, that was all well and good. I just really enjoyed video games and realized one day, hey, it's actually someone's job to make them. So I learned the tools and, kind of figured that out on YouTube and was self-taught. And one thing led to another. It was going from, game engine to game engine. And then virtual reality happened with the original Oculus Kickstarter. And then, I saw the HoloLens for the first time, and I was like, wow, that's a really cool device. And eventually it turned into, wait, you could get this bulky device that's really expensive and exclusive, or you can do AR on a phone and reach, millions and then ultimately hundreds of millions of people. So I think that was kind of when I started realizing the scale and that it's real. It's not a faraway thing like half these devices. It's here now, and people are engaging with it. I think that was kind of my moment that I'm like, okay, I'm all in now.
Jumped in.
Yeah, and so, the last couple of years, it's been great. Doing different branded projects, working with AT&T, DirecTV, Uber, the NFL, and then now, most recently, Allo. It's just been fun reaching people where they are.
Amazing. Those early days are so formative, and that's super inspiring. And I'd love to hear some of the AR experience you've worked on with clients since the early days. What does that look like? And how did those early days really form how you work with people today? So maybe, could you describe maybe one or two projects that you're most proud of and some highlights about the work that you did with clients or partners together? And Andre, back to you.
Yeah, I mean, we did a project last year in collaboration with Current Studios for the DirecTV Serena Williams campaign. That was all over TV in the US. And so the robots that were attacking her in that mall, we basically built a game around them where they attack you on your phone and you have to bounce the balls that they're shooting back at them at different targets. And it was like almost like a wave shooter where they appeared all around you. So that was really fun. And, coming from Canada, we don't have DirecTV up there. So coming down to the States and seeing, oh my God, here's this ad campaign. And then here's the game that we built that went alongside it was really cool. And then, most recently in New York Fashion Week, did a bunch of stuff there. You were involved in all the projects with me, capping that off with the Allo activation, which was the digital mirror. And then even bringing Allo to Snap in the first place was awesome.
Serena's ahead of the game. She's actually a Clone X holder as well. Artifact Clone X holder.
I love that.
Yeah, she's awesome. That's cool that you got to do something with her.
Yeah, it was fun.
The Allo collection, the New York Fashion Week experience was amazing. It was so much fun. And Angelique, as a key stakeholder in that project, can you share your motivation to work with Andre and what some of your goals for the activation were?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're the official wellness partner of New York Fashion Week. This year, knowing that we were launching a luxury collection for the first time, we also wanted to show. So we had our first presentation at New York Fashion Week this round. And in addition to showing on models, we also had more so of an immersive experience. Because it is the luxury line, we wanted to differentiate itself. Not only is the luxury, premium and feel IRL, but then we also wanted to have a premium URL experience with that too. And so that's what led me to Andre in this experience here. So in addition to seeing the clothing in real life on models, you were able to also try it on in the AR mirror that we partnered with Snap on and that Andre helped us design. So effectively you were seeing it on model, but then you were also able to stand in front of the mirror, and although the collection hadn't launched, you were able to try pieces on, figure out your favorite piece of that collection so that then it would incite interest and intent, not only for purchase, but for sharing out much more of the Aspen collection.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience, and the whole activation in New York Fashion Week was incredible. So, Angelique and Andre, I'd love to dive into what it was like to work together throughout the development of that experience. So, Andre, could you tell us a bit about your approach in working with brands like Olo?
Yeah, I mean, mostly saying, please trust me. I know what I'm doing here. No, I mean, it starts with a big idea, right? And like identifying what the opportunity is. And so in this case, it was, I don't think there's a bigger stage than New York Fashion Week, really. Yeah. Ultimately, we knew we had to come correct. And, you know, with launching this collection, it was, okay, let's show off the best pieces and show them off in the best way. And, you know, initially we started with a larger list of items that we wanted to show off. And then, you know, it was kind of, let's play around with it a little bit, see what works with the tech. And ultimately where we landed, you know, looked really good and it was a draw, right? When people would walk in, they'd see the AR mirror and like just run to it. And I think, you know, seeing that come to life was really cool. And in terms of just working together, you know, we did our thing with the check-ins and, you know, it's like, hey, this is working, this isn't, let's talk about it. But, you know, we got there. It was pretty smooth, all things considered.
Yeah, amazing partnership. Andre and I are friends. We're both Canadian, so there's history there. It's not our first time collaborating. The trust was there too. But when you walk into an immersive experience, yes, you're seeing these models. Yes, you're at New York Fashion Week. Yes, you're immersed in kind of the Alo wellness ecosystem, which had intuitive reading and massages and sound baths, but then also having the AR mirror, you know, just complemented the entire luxury collection. So it was wonderful to collaborate together and bring this to life. And, you know, what we're not sharing here is that we brought it to life in under than 3 weeks, right?
Yeah.
So
it was a quick turnaround.
Yeah, quick turnaround, but again, really amplified what we were doing and would not have shown at New York Fashion Week without it.
Yeah, it was amazing. Andre, you nailed it. It was awesome.
It was a team effort.
Yeah, you nailed it too.
Thanks. Angelique, so was there a time where during this process where you had to evolve your vision? Can you share a little bit about how Andre helped you work through the concept and work with Andre on that concept?
Yeah, absolutely. Like any big project, there are some unforeseen pieces. And so we did have to evolve our vision. I would be lying if I would say that all major campaigns are not, you know, tweaking or making adjustments as you set forth to launch. And so in this particular case, when we were setting up at New York Fashion Week, a few days before the presentation, we came to a place where we were able to see the collection in AR and ultimately decided to cut down on the number of items that would be shown for New York Fashion Week, that the visitor to our space, editor, the model, whatever, they would be able to try on very distinct key pieces that we thought would be the most fun. So these looked like puffer jackets, puffer skirts, things that had a bit more dimension and movement as part of the collection because it's the Aspen collection. It's inspired by après-ski, by snow, by Aspen itself.
Right.
Imagine there are items like earmuffs or like sweaters that would not have the same effect. So being able to cut down and trim down on what we ended up presenting, I think was the right decision because ultimately, you know, as Andre said earlier, there was a lineup of folks that would come in, see the models, see the collection, get in line right away for AR Mirror to try it on, and then come into the rest of the wellness offering. And that was really special to see. So ultimately, the right decision to cut down on the number of SKUs that we presented. And yeah, really happy with that decision.
People were so excited about it. And it's great to hear that you were able to both to work together and really make this whole experience impactful. So it was really amazing. So one final question before I put Chris back on the hot seat. I know that this is just the beginning for AR at Olo.
Yeah.
How do you see this technology evolving your business in the future? And what are some other great AR experiences we can expect from this collaboration?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, there's one piece that we didn't mention from this collaboration is that, yes, you were able to try on via the AR mirror in person at New York Fashion Week, but we also had a lens. And so people across the world at the same time were able to try on the Aspen collection for the first time before it launched. We actually launched the collection just a few days ago on October 19th. And so between September 10th and October 19th, the only ones who were able to try it across the world were folks in their home holding the phone via AR. And that's really cool. So that was amazing. And then when we think of going forward, you know, you could expect things like larger collections that are launched fully in digital fashion realms where you can try on a full collection. You can perhaps co-create as part of a collection. So things like that, I think AR will continue to amplify that. And then heading into the future even more so, when we think of our app like Allo Moves, being able to engage in yoga and meditation with an augmented reality, I think that's really exciting for the future as well.
Yeah, that's incredibly exciting. So thanks for sharing about the New York Fashion Week experience, and
Of course.
congrats on the launch for the Aspen collection.
Thank you.
All right, Chris, back over to you. So as you mentioned, Artifact has worked with clients such as Murakami, and I think you mentioned Jeff Staple as well. I'd love to hear some of your best practices when it comes to working with external partners and maybe how your team supports different various stages throughout the project.
Again, do your research on the collaborator you're working with to make the collaboration effortless and comfortable. After doing the research, you're able to, explain to them how this whole process works, because we'd like to involve them heavily. For example, Takashi Murakami, great guy to work with. He's done his traditional thing, painter, even sculptor. But to introduce him to AR, it was very exciting. He's seen AR before and has done some stuff in it, but the level we wanted to take it, we made sure he was involved from ground zero. The experience we did with the Gagosian gallery was awesome. Yeah, we did this whole thing where if you walked into the gallery, we had the snap codes embedded on the walls. There's like several floors of the gallery. One of them, you scanned it, you pointed it around, the whole ceiling would open up, and you had a giant Clonex Takashi Murakami overlooking the crowd as they're looking at all his pieces. And then we used the physics system. So we have this product called the Clonex Vial. So it's actually the NFT that you use to unveil your Clonex PFP. They were falling from this cool cosmic galactic sky. It was really cool. And then we also had an experience at every single one of the Clonex avatar paintings, where if you scanned it, the eyes did that old school haunted house thing where the eyes kind of looked at your camera wherever you moved. And even he had his own personal exhibit on the other floor where he did these really cool like porcelain fish paintings. And you went in there and you basically would see hologram fish, like the whole room filled up with water, and the hologram fish would just swim around this really cool open space. But yeah, practices, this goes more toward with our 3D team, is all about optimization. A lot of us came from the gaming space, so optimizing 3D assets, like with polygon count, UV texture practices, like UV spacing to make sure that we can keep the file size much smaller so we can incorporate a lot more into one filter. I feel like it's a key component in making really, really dope looking filters.
Thanks for sharing those. And earlier this year, I know you landed perhaps your biggest client project yet, which is an acquisition of Artifact by Nike. So huge congrats on that. That's amazing.
Congrats.
When did you first, can you talk a little bit about when you first started working with Nike?
Yeah, we got acquired in December. It was amazing, an amazing journey, crazy experience for all of us. After getting acquired, we were like, what's the coolest thing we could do? One is to reward our Clonex holders with a dope box called the Monolith. It was a mystery box. And then if you held onto the box, they unveiled these really cool sneakers I designed. It was our collaboration with Nike called the Dunk Genesis that allowed you to stick in a skin vial. And again, this is coming from our background with gaming. We always knew the future would be skins, and kids collecting skins, like Fortnite skins. So these collectible vials, you have a base dunk, you stuck the vial in, and it changed your sneaker into one of the 8 DNAs, so like demon, angel, reptile, Murakami DNA. And then these shoes could be evolved as well.
Yeah,
we
over
hinted
time.
at that. Over time, they can evolve. So everything, we put the gamer first, we put internet culture first, and then we tie it to physical. But that project we're very proud of with Nike. And then from there,
Absolutely.
we eventually went into more SKUs. We have a lot of Air Forces. So pre-acquisition, we collaborated. And this goes back to what I was saying earlier, where I believe artists should always own a percentage of what they do. It's the creator economy. I myself, as a creative, I felt like we got used or were hired guns, right? Oh, he's just a designer. Let's hire him, get him to this work, move on, right? I was like, no, man, artists should have some sort of residual. I feel like that's the way of the future. So the 18 artists we picked, and we brought in a secret collaborator, Paris Hilton, who came in and started promoting all these unknown new artists that eventually all, from this collab, they all have their own careers now. Some of them are like, when we collaborated with them, they were like 16 years old, 15 years old. There's an artist named Mrs. Wist, Jaden, super dope, talented kid. We split 50-50 revenue with him. They all made pretty good money from this collab. And then after the acquisition, because we told everybody if you bought the Space Strip collectible, you can forge them for sneakers. So we didn't hesitate. We said, hey, Nike, let's give these guys Air Force Ones. So we did the Air Force One Artifact collab, where inside was our Artifact logo, which is called the Blade, and the other side is the Nike swoosh. We got the artists to reskin the sneakers. So these are brand new artists that all got their own Nike colorway, which is like the
cool.
grail in sneaker culture. Like everybody wishes they can get a Nike silhouette or a colorway. But these are new artists that all got it. Paris Hilton even got her own. And it was really cool. That really broke the boundaries, I feel like, in the industry. And then another thing too, which I feel like not a lot of people are talking about, but it's very groundbreaking and historic, but CloneX, we worked with Nike to figure out how to do 100% rights to the community, which is almost like Disney saying, here's a Mickey Mouse, go make money with it.
Right.
That's what we did at Nike. So now every CloneX holder who owns a PFP can go out, make any brand they want. Again, because we believe in the creator community. Go do whatever you want with the character. It's yours. And so that's one of the last things we did that we're very, very proud of, working with Nike.
You mentioned that to me before. It's like this really gave artists and creatives a platform, or designers a platform and a voice, right? That's amazing. So, and Chris, how has your working relationship evolved with Nike now that you're embedded with the team? Now that you're there, how has that relationship evolved?
It's really cool because like we're learning from them and they're learning from us. We're on the right mission. They know, we know that the whole industry is gonna eventually go into Web3. That's the way of the future. So it's gotten a lot closer. At first it was hard to navigate. We're not used to that corporate culture, but we navigated through it, met a lot of cool people. Teams were amazing to work with, and they are very innovative. That's why we felt like it was a great fit, because they, these are the same guys that make the Back to the Future sneakers. Like, this is crazy, like Tinker Hatfield. They're just as innovative as we are. It's a mutual respect. They kill it with sport and figuring out cool movement for the athlete with sneakers, new technologies. They've been into Web3 for a while. What's a funny story was we did 2 funding rounds. The first round was so we created the company, or the inception of the idea, late 2018. So my 2 co-founders, Benoit and Zaptio, were like, okay, let's go raise. Let's do this raising thing. No one believed in us except for 2 VCs, Galaxy Digital and GFR Fund, this really boutique Japanese fund out of Silicon Valley. And they had no idea what we were doing. They just took the bet, right? They're like, what is this whole digital sneaker thing? The only thing we can compare it to is skins. Like Fortnite, yeah, do kids collect skins? A new generation collects skins, yeah? Like that's a big business. And sneakers, same thing, sneaker collectors, like they buy and trade sneakers. It only made sense. It was inevitable that the 2 cultures kind of fused together. Then we closed funding in 2019. A few years later, we decided to go to Japan to celebrate and, get inspiration, because we're all anime fans, to go there, look at the architecture of Tokyo, meet some studios, and see if we can, potentially get some collaborations. Right when we landed, our phones blew up. There was an article that came out stating that these patents got leaked by Nike, and it was the Crypto Kicks patent. We were in shock because when we looked at the patents, this was almost exactly what we were planning on doing.
Right.
Like digital, virtual, collectible sneakers. We were stressed on, okay, do we take this company in a new direction? What do we do? So we went back to the hotel to brainstorm. We decided, you know what, let's just continue what we're doing. Then fast forward, after the Nike acquisition, we released the Nike Artifact Collab Dunk Genesis, which was the shoe based off of that patent. So the patent got handed to us.
Amazing.
And we executed it. Yep.
That sounds awesome. My last questions for the group are a bit more forward-looking, more futuristic. Angelique, is there a future you see where AR ties the physical to the digital? And what role do you see AR playing in the way that maybe Allo customers will interact with the brand and interact with your business in the future?
Yeah, I mean, tying in the physical with the virtual, I think is always the goal of augmented reality. You're not trying to disrupt or change what we're experiencing in the physical, but you're trying to augment it. I think there's a plethora of examples in which that could take shape. Right now in, for example, the Allo Sanctuary metaverse that we have about 56 million people doing yoga and meditation with us on a regular basis. And being able to be submerged into this world where they're tuning in by tuning out, focusing on their mental health, focusing on their daily affirmations is just really special. And so without that augmented reality, that might not be a possibility for some to tune into themselves by tuning out of the real world. So do see that it can amplify certain scenarios. And then on the flip side, there's other use cases like try-on, right? Especially when you think of fashion, when you think of examples that you were, sharing earlier, being able to try before you buy. In addition to that, navigate your world, but then if you want to be at a runway show, but you can't because you're sitting in Paris and the show is in New York, for example, you're able to be submerged and be in a space and be able to live it in real time. So those are all things that I think are exciting that tie back to having a physical and then digital representation.
Can I add something? Think about how much of the world buys collectible items just to store and resell. That will go away. That will just, not go away, but be transferred into the metaverse. And this is why I believe in Web3, augmented reality, and the metaverse. I feel like it's gonna help rebuild the planet.
So in your mind, there's an environmental aspect to it as well.
Yes, it's huge aspect of it. Sustainability is the future, yeah.
It also helps to democratize, right?
Yes.
And so collections that are not accessible to all, for example, like right now we have 60 million pieces of digital fashion being worn on avatars. Right. And that's incredible because it might not be accessible to everyone. I'm not only speaking about Allo, this was Allo specific, but certain collections that you might not reach or you may not be able to purchase. It just helps on a sustainability standpoint through and through for the planet, but then for humankind and just the way that we treat each other and our world.
Such a great point.
Yeah. That's why we had like the $1 Jeff Staple bird. It was literally $1. And in our new Remova collab, we have, if you can't afford one of our price points, we have a robot, like a collectible robot for $100 that you can collect. But yeah, it's...
If you can get the mint.
Yeah, obviously.
Bringing us home, Andre, as an AR expert, how do you see this future and how are you planning to help your partners realize this future? Someone who's been in this space for so long and helping them bring that vision to life.
Yeah, I mean, I think looking forward, AR basically democratizes information and understanding of the world around you, right? Some of the most fun lenses are literally you point your phone at a bird, right? And all of a sudden you can learn about it, the bird calls and everything else. And I think, having contextually aware information that, is either in your pocket on your phone, you point the camera at something, or soon with spectacles, that's gonna unlock a lot of learning for people. And being able to, have a conversation and hold someone's gaze without having to look at the watch or the phone or everything around you, I think will be really important in kind of reestablishing those connections between people. So with that in mind, how do you work with a brand with those guidelines and like, okay, let's not get the phone and the screens up in front of people, let's connect them. I think that'll be the future in the next few years.
It's not only information at your fingertips, but it's also maintaining connection with the people and the environment around you, right? Yeah.
That integration. Seamless integration of both.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, it's been a pleasure hanging out with all of you. Thank you for taking the time. It was a lot of fun. So,
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having
us. Appreciate it.